Minute. Previously, we talked about President's Day and George Washington. Well, today, you guessed it, we're going to talk about Abraham Lincoln. This is the best I could do for a stovepipe hat. We'll have to talk to the prop man that don't know much about studios and see if we can do better next time. I do have this crazy urge to say 7 years ago, but I'm going to fight that off. Look, we all know a lot about Lincoln. He was Honest Abe, born in poverty. He was the great emancipator. But there's an awful lot about Lincoln that most of us don't, but should know. Here are 3 quick things you may not know about Abraham Lincoln. First of all, when he was 9 years old, he had to help build his mother's coffin. That's an astonishing idea. She had died of what was known as the milk sickness. It was a disease caught from drinking the milk of cows that had eaten a poisonous plant. Lincoln not only had to help build her coffin, but carry her body out on a sled in the wintertime to be buried. A few years into his political career, Abraham Lincoln joined Congress, and even though we think of him as the greatest war president, Lincoln actually voiced anti-war opinions in his only speech in Congress. It was against the war in Mexico in 1848, and that was a very popular war in America at the time, and it actually cost Lincoln his seat in Congress. He did not run again because his views were unpopular. Kind of interesting to think about that in terms of the great war president of the Civil War. Finally, I should tell you that the great emancipator was no abolitionist. In fact, by modern standards, Abraham Lincoln might be considered a bit of a racist. He didn't think blacks and whites were equal. He didn't think blacks should serve on juries. He didn't think they should vote. He didn't believe in the intermarriage of the races. So by our standards, we'd have to say he was a little bit backwards. By the way, the Emancipation Proclamation, it didn't free any slaves when it was announced in 1863. It only affected the slaves that were in the southern states that had seceded, over which Lincoln had no control. Of course, emancipation finally came after the war was over with passage of the 13th Amendment. Abraham Lincoln, Honest Abe, the rail splitter, all true. Our greatest president? I think so. So, happy President's Day.